Well, hello, my friends, and happy Sunday to you. Look at this. Oh, I had so much fun and so much meaning in this piece. So all of these collage papers are available in the shop as a new collage pack. And I'll explain a little bit more about each one of those as we go along. But I'm working on an 11 by 14 MDF board, and I'm putting each of those pieces down, and I have them down in a specific spot, so I'm kind of piecing them together as I get them in their place, and you'll see me do that a couple of times so that I don't lose their spot. And it's always the hardest to get them back in the same spot that I had them in originally. So all of these pieces, it took me a long time to select the pages because each single piece has such meaning. And I'll explain a lot of that at the end of the video along with the inspiration behind this piece. Such good meaning, deep meaning for me. And so I put everything down with my DecoArt matte medium, and now I'm using DecoArt's gesso, and I'm just giving it a brush to kind of push everything back. I'm using my square palette knife and I'm pulling it back and kind of giving it a scratchy feel in areas that I feel like maybe got too dark or is too, that's not allowing the papers to show through, because there's a lot of layers to go and I still want all of that to show. I'm scratching into the gesso, and all of that when it dries gives it such wonderful texture. So I just continued to kind of do the dance of pulling it back and then brushing it back on. And I used just a regular dry brush. So now I grabbed my number stencil and I'm using DecoArt's fluid acrylic in medium gray, and I want it to be a super messy stencil. So I'm using a rag and I'm just really pushing it through that stencil, and some of it runs out of the lines, some of it's smushed, and I wanted that look. I didn't want it to be perfect, because I wanted it to feel aged and worn and all of those kinds of things. So I didn't want it to be pristine. So that's why I used my rag, and that's why I used the fluid acrylic, because it has such vibrancy of color. So now I'm going to push this back again to give it that aged fresco feel. And I'm scratching back into it again to bring back texture and interest, to reveal underlayer papers. And so now I'm just trying to lay out my papers. And those dark edged papers that you see me fiddling with, those are actually an angel painting, a vintage angel painting from an old art book. And to me, it really lended itself to the word awakening. And so that's available in the collage pack as well. So I fiddle with everything, I cut them apart, and I place them in the spot that I want. And I actually make marks. I didn't show it on camera, but I make marks around the edge so I know exactly where the outside edge of those pages are, so that I know where I want my stencil to show up coming outside of all of those papers. And so you'll see me search for those marks as I begin to add my layer of stenciling and color. I'm using DecoArt's Cobalt Teal and some medium gray again, and I'm mixing them together so that it's not a pristine teal, that it feels again aged and kind of soft and mysterious a little bit. And then I'm dragging my palette knife back through that stenciled image, really to kind of mess it up and make it feel aged and like rain has run down it and it's dripped down and that kind of thing. So again, I'm just checking to make sure I'm within my lines and everything. You can see me, I'm searching for those lines. Okay, there it is, there it is. And going back and finishing my stenciling. Making sure to pull it with my palette knife to kind of mess it up with my rag. Really kind of just making it rough. You can barely see the pattern. And this is my Old World stencil, Old World Minis stencil. I wanted that old world feel. All of the supplies will be listed on the blog, and you can check that out in the link below in the description box. Now I'm coming back with some alcohol on my rag, and I'm really scrubbing that surface to give it that faded look, scratched, worn. That's what I was going for, and I just love how it turned out. So now I think I've got my papers back in the right spot. It's always hard to get them back there, and it's never exactly the same, but that's okay. It was meant to be how it goes down, right? So I'm putting all of my papers down with, again, my DecoArt matte medium. And I've got some postcards and some of the other background papers were from an art book talking about the art in Naples, and I thought they were appropriate for the journey that we were on. I was thinking about places I would love to go, and so every single piece has such great meaning. Links to the collage pack will also be on the blog if you want to pick that up. And I'm going back over the papers and doing the same exact process of dry brushing my gesso on and then pulling it back, because I really want those papers to tell the story, to have that interest show through. But I want it to be subtle so that it doesn't detract from the word, from the focal point. And again, now I'm taking my alcohol in my rag and pulling it back up again. So this is my Flower Silhouette 4 stencil, and I really wanted this to just pop. It was the focal point, it was the darkest thing on the page so far, and I really wanted it to be crisp and clean, so I was very careful with this. Then I grabbed my Garden 2 stencil and used that for the stem, and it worked perfectly. And I was really challenging myself on this piece to stay very neutral, to not add a lot of color. I wanted so badly to add a warm umber glaze, and I fought myself on it. I'm really trying. My word for this year is discover, and I'm really trying to discover new things, new practices, new ideas, and you have to work outside your comfort zone to get there. So I'm putting down all of the pieces that mean something to this piece, the word, all of that, putting that all down. And now I'm coming back in with my splatters stencil and really now starting to bring the piece together, tie it all together. And I do that by, again, bringing that black in, because that's tying the focal point to the rest of the piece. And I'm working at an angle and really connecting all of the pieces with my stencil. So I'm touching all of the sides, the sides of the piece, the side of the paper. All of that helps in making something feel cohesive and not disjointed, like you've just got bits and pieces everywhere. It helps when you touch things, your papers, your stencils, work, to other pieces and create a vignette. So now I'm just coming in and we're going to start finishing this up, and I'm doing all of my shading, and I did a lot of shading on this because I was struggling with it because there wasn't any warmth in it, and I needed that shading to really make the focal points of those papers and the flowers really stand out and have some contrast from the background. So I did a lot of scribbling and a lot of shading at this point to find what I felt comfortable with. So I do my edges and block that in so I can kind of see where it's going. And I had to add some color. I had to. So I grabbed a soft chalk pastel and I added some plum around the outside edges, just some scribbles, and then smudged it. I wasn't sure about it, so I did some of it off camera. Um, and so then I was like, yeah, I like it. So I turned the camera on. Um, and now I feel like it needs that extra white and black for me to always finalize and pull a piece together. And I just wasn't getting it from this stencil. And you'll see that I bring it all together with my white, and as soon as I do it, it's like, ah, it is done. So I add some more soft chalk pastel in some wonderful blue, and it's really starting to feel like home now. So we're going to just finish this up, and I hope you stick around for the message of this piece and what inspired me. And if you like this, subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And I hope that you have a wonderful Sunday, and we will see you next week.
Well, hello, lovies, and happy Sunday to you. I just realized that this is kind of along the same color theme as last week's Sunday inspiration. And I'm not sure why. I've been trying to step outside of my comfort zone and really work where I am not comfortable. And I really wanted to do a wash, an umber wash, because this is really cool for me. I've got some warm tones in here, but it's a really cool feeling, cool colors. But we all need to step outside our comfort zone, which is what this piece is all about. So I went through everything throughout the video. I do want to show you though. So today's collage, this is a collage pack in the shop, all the pieces. And they have come from some of the best books. Oh my goodness. Such goodness. Just, this stuff makes me, this is just my happy place. Oh, so good. So every single piece in this piece has a meaning to do with this awakening. And I've been reading some great books. This week I was reading Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. And it's an excellent book, and I'll have it linked if you're interested. I've mentioned it before. But again, I can see that this is one that I will continue to go back to over and over again. But she talks about the lies that we tell ourselves, and for whatever reason, as I was reading one of the chapters, I got this word awakening just like heavy on me, that's where I'm at. I'm kind of going through my own awakening with business, with relationship, health, personal, all those kinds of things. And as I began to really unfold that word awakening, it kind of really melded with my word for the year, discover. They kind of go hand in hand in my mind anyway. But so a word awakening, it's going to be like the second part of my word for the year. Can you have two words? Of course you can. You can do whatever you want. But so each piece, it took me a long time to pull the pieces. Everything was very, very intentional. And so the map in the background, to me, awakening is this journey. It's not like just you suddenly awake and everything is great and all your dreams have come true and everything is all in place. And relationships are restored and you've lost 10 pounds, and that's not how it works. It's a journey. It's a slow, steady, constant, sometimes hard, sometimes wonderful, sometimes rejoiceful journey. Sometimes it's scary and yucky and all of those things, but it starts with a single step, awakening, opening our hearts up, opening our minds up, stepping outside of our comfort zone. It's one single step. That's where it starts. And so that's why the map is in the back. And then each thing has something to do with that journey. So the postcards are part of that. The flower is the growth, new birth, new life. That's part of that awakening. Same with these flowers here. Let's see, postcards are part of the travel. The bingo was, this is not a game. My life is not a game. And it's time to start treating it like this is serious business. And we only have so much time on this earth, and then it's gone. And so that's what that was for. This was measuring the measuring thing. What is it? Oh my gosh, mind blank. But this is to measure my time and measure how far I've gone, or maybe it's 2 steps forward and 2 steps back, because that's how it works sometimes. And sometimes when we fall back, that's when we quit. That's when we stop achieving, we stop working, we stop all of those things. And that awakening, we shrink back. And so that's what that represents. The dictionary pages. So I opened my dictionary. I'm looking for the word, and I seriously opened it up, and it was journey. And I'm like, alrighty then. And the other one over here was judge. And I thought, no one can judge you for your journey. No one can judge you for how your awakening happens. No one can judge you for the single step that you take. And usually the people that judge you are the ones who are sitting in the seats. They're not in the arena, as Brené Brown often says. They're the ones who haven't done anything. Those are the ones who would judge you. So no judgment. You can't accept any judgment from anyone. This is your awakening. This is your journey. This is your discovery. Oh yeah, amen to that. And then all of the postmarks and all of that, again, part of that journey. Then right down here I've got the dictionary page, awakening, the description. And it says, to awaken, obviously, to awake from a sleep. I thought, yeah, so often I do my day like I'm numb, like I'm sleeping, like I'm sleepwalking. And I don't want to do that anymore. And then it says a rousing alarm. I'm like, the alarms are going off, right? So often the alarms go off every single day in our lives in one way or another, in relationships, in all kinds of things, and we don't do anything about it. We just shut it off and continue on. And it says a revival of attention. Suddenly we're awakening, and our attention is on our intentions for our life. So good. I needed all of this for me, for my message, for where I'm headed and where things are going. And it'll be 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. Like I said, that's how the journey goes. And to always remind myself that it's a journey. It doesn't happen all at once. Maybe sometimes, but not usually. That's not how it's worked in my life. And so, my loves, I want to encourage you to explore this awakening word, to explore journey, to discover all of those things. If you're feeling that rumble within your soul and you're restless, it starts with a single step. Write it out. I talk about it all the time. Write it down. You'll make it happen. If you write it out physically with your hand on a piece of paper, it happens. Something transforms in our brains. Write it out. Write your dreams. Write where you want to go, your intentions. from the smallest things to the big stuff. And then take one single step. And remember to take a look back and say, look what I've done. Look how far I've come. Look the small inches that I've taken. Give yourself some praise for that. All right, lovies. I hope your Sunday is awesome. I hope it's wonderful. I hope there's growth and discovery and all of those things that I talked about, and that there's passion about what you're doing and where you're headed. I hope your Sundays are restful too, and you are surrounded by love and laughter, and I hope that you always know that you are loved.